What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mags. Of course, it's just ended at Stamford Bridge, 1-0 to Chelsea against Newcastle. Yes, we might have lost our unbeaten run of 9 games, and yes, we might have took our first defeat of 2022. But if you look at that game, if you managed to watch it, or if you were at the game, then you will know that that scoreline is not justifiable with the way the game played out. It is absolutely beyond a joke. The dirty tactics that were on show today by Chelsea. They knew they couldn't take Newcastle on head to head. They knew they weren't good enough to, go toe to toe with one of the best teams in the Premier League, if not the best team in the Premier League this year. And they literally reverted to the dirty tactics of elbowing players. Kai Havertz, of course, elbowing Dan Burn in the first half. He should have been seeing a red card for it. They looked at it on VAR and deemed it was only a yellow card, which in itself is absolutely laughable, because if you look at it on the replay, you can clearly see, that there is absolutely no way that can ever be deemed just a yellow card. If it was anybody else doing that outside of the Sinister Six, they would definitely be seeing the red card and be heading for an early shower, but not Kai Havertz. No, he gets a yellow card. He gets to continue on in the game. And of course, then there's shouts of a penalty for in the game as well, where Jacob Murphy broke into the box. He was taken down by Chalobah, who's pulling and pulling and pulling at the shirt of Murphy. And David Coote, who's the referee for today's game, doesn't have a clear view of the decision, but he does have VAR and John Brooks to, assist him. Tell him to go look at the monitor. He should be going and looking at the monitor anyway himself, but he doesn't. John Brooks says not to go look at the monitor. He doesn't even tell him to go look at the monitor, basically. And of course, then the penalty decision isn't given, even though it's an absolute stonewaller, definite penalty in my eyes. And we don't get it. There's another decision for another red card against Chelsea in the game, which isn't given neither. Which it's, of course, I believe it was Hakim Ziyech with the boot to Bruno Guimaraes. And it was a very high boot. He got really close to Bruno Guimaraes' eye. I don't know how he didn't see red for it. He only seen a yellow as well. So there's 2 red card decisions, that were absolute stonewall decisions. They should have been given. So that would have put Chelsea down by 2 men in the game, but they didn't get the men sent off. The penalty decision didn't even get given away, which was an absolute stonewaller as well. And to make it even worse, Kai Havertz is the guy that ends up winning the game for Chelsea with an 88th minute or 89th minute goal past Martin Dubravka, of course, with Dan Burn, the player, trying to stop him from scoring the goal. The same Dan Burn, of course, who got the header, who got an elbow, off Kai Havertz. Looking at the game, absolutely dreadful officiating by David Coote and John Brooks on VAR. Completing inconsistencies like we've seen with the Premier League for a while now. 1 week one team is getting the penalty decision for exactly what happened with Jacob Murphy today, and then the next week they're not. The same with the red cards. 1 week the player's being sent off for an elbow or high boot, and then the next week they're not. It's the inconsistencies that kill you, and it's killed with today. Chelsea should have never been coming away from that game with the 3 points in the bag. It should have always been Newcastle's 3 points, or even at the bare minimum a draw, but it should have never been Chelsea coming away with 3 points in the bag. And to make it even worse as well, the Chelsea fans also decided to chant Roman Abramovich's name in the second half as well, again after being told by the Premier League and by the government to not sing Roman Abramovich's name at the game, and we are hearing the Chelsea fans once again doing it again. I believe that there should be further sanctions put on the Chelsea fans, stop the Chelsea fans from going to the game, basically, because if they're going to go to the games and they're going to chant for somebody that is funding war crimes right now against Ukraine, is absolutely right in there, right beside his good buddy Vladimir Putin, Roman Abramovich, and you've got Chelsea chanting that guy's name. That in itself right there is absolutely criminal. They should not be allowed to attend a Chelsea game for the rest of the season, maybe even for a little while. If they're going to chant his name at the stands, then they should not be allowed to attend the games. The games should possibly be played behind closed doors. That would be my judgment, if they're going to continue to chant his name, because the guy is a war criminal. He is doing war crimes right now, and they are still chanting his name. But moving back to the talk about the game, looking at the table, of course, Newcastle are still 14th in the table, so it hasn't affected our position in the table. Who the hell gives a shit, right? At the end of the day, if Chelsea want to have dirty tactics against we, let them. We'll just continue on as we were, and we're still 14th in the table. We've still got 31 points. Yes, we could have went to 11th place in the table today, with results, of course, going in with favour. But we're now 14th. We'll stay 14th, and we're going to the game against Everton at Goodison Park next, which is on the 17th of March. Chelsea are third place in the league, 59 points. That takes them, I think, about 10 points adrift or something like that from Liverpool at the top half of the table. But who gives a shit about what's happening at the top half of the table? Nobody gives a crap about that. The only interesting thing that anybody cares about really is what is happening, from the matter of 11th right the way down to the relegation zone, basically. That is the only position that anybody cares about in the league, because we all know who's going to win the Premier League anyway. It's more than likely going to be Manchester City, as they're now 69 points to Liverpool's 66, so they're getting a run away, and I think it's going to be Manchester City that wins the Premier League. And to be honest, it's just really the way it's going to be at the moment in time with the Premier League. But as for the game today, yes, we might have lost one unbeaten run of 9 games. Yes, we might have lost one unbeaten run in 2022. But we'll go on to the next game against Everton, and hopefully we can pick up a result in that game and restart an unbeaten run again. But to lose to Chelsea by dirty tactics is absolutely beyond a joke. To lose an unbeaten run by that and in that way, it's just absolutely pathetic. But let us know your thoughts anyway down in the comments below. As always, remember, like, share, subscribe to 100% Mag, scan that QR code, of course, so that you can subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and of course, it does help the channel to grow and reach a wider audience. Until next time, I'll see you all later, and how are the lads?